there's no doubt about this statement that the thing I love most in this world is vintage Kenner Star Wars toys. Now, believe it or not, I have a pretty good-sized collection of them, but one of my favorite pieces, and probably the most rare piece in my collection, is the Darth Vader's tie backdrop. It looks like a white piece of cardboard. That's until you flip it over when you open the box in 1980 or 81. Now, you'll see over here, this little flap, copyright CPG Products Corp. 1979.772-025-00. Copyright characters, 1977 20th Century Fox Film Corp. Now it's kind of hard to read, but that's what you would get. But you would open it up just like that. And now it looks kind of weird. But then you'll notice more white cardboard. Here's the little federal tab and the tab with two little dots on it. And let's open it up into all its glory. Now, this one came with the Darth Vader TIE Fighter. Now, you'll say, well, you say Darth Vader TIE Fighter, what other ones are there? Well, it's the one that came with the Darth Vader TIE Fighter because the top isn't cut off. And why would the top be cut off? Because some kid cut it off and was so dumb on Christmas morning? No. Here's why. You would be surprised to know that this also came with the Slave One. Now, the Slave One, the box was slightly different dimensions than the Darth Vader TIE Fighter. And, well, therein lied the problem. The box was too small for this behemoth of cardboard to fit inside. So, what did they do? They cut off the top so that it would fit inside the box. And there's a bunch of stormtrooper legs, and it looks terrible. So this is the first one and the better one. Now you'll notice it is what I think to be a Death Star hangar bay. I could be wrong, but if you notice, if you're a Star Wars fan, right there, that is on the original 1978 Kenner Death Star, and it was there on one of the cardboard inserts that I have up on my shelf. So that tells me that this is a bigger piece of the Death Star. And it is very cool. There's stormtroopers. And it looks like it's the trench that Luke Skywalker flew his X-Wing through and landed that 1 in a million shot, and then kaboom, you know what happened. So it's a cool piece. It's obscure. And I think it's even rarer than a rocket-firing Boba Fett. Now, you're like, well, your old toys. I looked up Darth Vader's tie backdrop, and nobody in This Is All I Saw. What would it look like with all the action figures on it? Well, here you go. This is for the die-hard Star Wars fans. There's Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. I'll kind of make a scene here. Darth Vader. This is the supreme, the epic, the most epic Star Wars Imperial base. there were a lot of toys that were made for the Empire through the 70s and 80s, but this is the coolest. And you know why it is so rare? It was in the Sears catalog in the, I think, 70, it was, I think, 80. I don't know, honestly, because I wasn't there to experience it, and nobody can know everything about a certain topic. For years, people said rocket-firing Boba Fett's had no country of origin. That has been proven wrong. There's a old VHS tape called Star Wars Garbage from the 90s by Steve Denny. And in that tape, it was recently released. And on that tape, he points out that he has 3 rocket-firing Boba Fett's. 2 of them have the country of origin stamp. And if that was knowledge 30 years ago, oh yes, that means that that it is proven true. But hey, I could be wrong on that. But nobody can be certain on anything. So, to say you know means that you don't know. So, I'm just decking this thing out as best I can. And, well, it is a great toy to have. I am honored to have this piece in my collection, and this is the holy grail for me. A rocket-firing Boba Fett, I know they're expensive, they're sought after, but unless I win the lottery, I've realized a rocket-firing Boba Fett is just out of the question for me. I realized, hey, I'm making my collection as great as possible, and while I do have amazing pieces like the skiff and the A-wing, I've just come to the realization that I will never have a rocket-firing Boba Fett because every year the price just keeps driving higher and higher. But as I zoom the camera out, this is what it looks like decked out. And this is a truly, truly, truly amazing piece. The last one that sold on eBay was in 2021. The last rocket-firing Boba Fett that sold was a couple of months ago. Rocket-firing Boba Fetts are selling more frequently than this piece and command a way higher price, like hundreds of thousands of times what this is worth. But because it is cardboard, not plastic, this thing got trashed on Christmas morning. There are only a few examples out there with the tabs still intact, and especially in the great shape that this one is. The only other ones that I know of are one is in the safe hands of Gus Lopez. One is in my collection. And there's a slave one cropped top one that I've seen an image. That's 3. There is one with the box and instruction sheets. That's 4. And I'm going to include the X Factor one that is unknown about. That leaves 5 in the world that are in this condition. So guys, what are your thoughts about this toy? Are you going to get it before it commands a rocket-firing Boba Fett prize or a Mickey Mantle prize? Are you going to get it? Because you would win the Star Wars lottery if you could find this piece. You can't go into a antique shop or vintage toy store that specializes in this and say, hey, I want the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter backdrop. Luckily, the local shop, Heroes and Hobbies, happened to have acquired one in the 90s and was willing to sell it. I got lucky finding mine. I wish you the best of luck finding yours. May the Force be with you.